Welcome back to a best of 3 series of top level StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a Zerg versus Protoss between two of the very best players in the world. Game number 1, we find ourselves on Oceanborn in the top left corner. Playing with the blue Zerg pieces, we have none other than Reynor and his opponent from South Korea in the opposite corner with the red Protoss probes. He goes by the name of Hero. Alrighty, Hero going up against Rainor. I haven't seen this match yet. It was played during the ESL Masters Spring tournament, a premier event that took place a couple weeks ago at this point. It's been on my list of games to cast for a little bit, so fingers crossed that this is indeed going to be a really, really good match. I did recently cast the Hero versus Serral series. Now, I don't really want to spoil it in case you haven't seen it, but let's just say that Serral plays good StarCraft. Yeah, and I will indirectly be drawing parallels here to what Serral does and what Raynor is going to be doing. One theme that we noticed in the Serral games is that he doesn't really take any damage in the early game whatsoever, and yet he is droning really, really hard. So, he's droning, but he's not losing any of them, which, you know, makes a lot of sense in theory. If you can execute it, it will work out perfectly for you, but most players out there, and I wonder if Raynor is going to be in that category, most players out there, when they do drone very aggressively, like for example what Serral was doing, they will end up losing, well, up to like a dozen workers very, very quickly, and that's exactly what Hero is going to try and do. Raynor recently going over to South Korea to participate in the GSL Codes. He's been working pretty hard, from what I understand, trying to get as good at StarCraft as he possibly can be, but I will say that his results over the last couple months, ever since he went to Korea, I don't think they're quite up to his standard either. I think he expected a little bit more from himself too. Hard to say if that is because of him just, you know, having a hard time, or if the practice has not been going well, or maybe the new balance patches that just don't really quite lean into his playstyle quite as much. But Raynor certainly is aiming to win the big tournaments whenever he can, and going up against players like Hero should be something he can certainly do. Hero, of course, ridiculously good player. Doesn't really have any particular weaknesses when it comes to this matchup. In the series against Serral, he seemed to have like a certain level of urgency in his play, where he was just a little too aggressive in certain moments. I think that's probably also because of that Serral aura, where players just play a little bit more aggressive because they don't really want to have the game go the distance. But usually, Hero doesn't really do that. I feel like most of the Protoss versus Zergs that I've casted over the last few months featuring Hero, it's been up against Dark. And it's hard to really judge a matchup when it's, you know, it's featuring Dark. Because Dark is a bit of a wild card when it comes to any matchup. In general, though, most of the European players will assume that their playstyles, especially against Korean Protosses, are going to be a little bit better. So we'll see. Korean Zergs in general do play the matchup quite a bit differently. Ooh. Fidget Spinner Zergling going straight to the surface of Oceanborn. Overlord should get to the pillar. Yep. No worries though, because we already have an Oracle out. Hero is going to get that high ground vision once again, and although the Overlord only exists right now to delay the Oracle from going across the map. Yeah. It's a sad life when your only purpose is to delay. He's gonna follow that Zergling somewhere on the shore of Oceanborn. What is this, by the way? What is... This looks like me playing Protoss. Yeah, so this is one of those things that, like, the European Zergs will be looking at, and they're like, look at this guy. Look at this. Look at this guy can't even make a wall off. I don't think it's intentional, by the way. Hero does sometimes just make weird walls. I oftentimes look at it and I'm like, there's no way he's not doing it on purpose, right? Like whenever, okay, so say you're a ladder hero, say you're a Protoss player, as we do have the Oracles going across. 1 kill, 2 kills, 3 kills. I don't like it. No, that's too much damage on one of those Oracles. 3 kills is more than he got against Serral, but still a little iffy. Anyways, if you do this wall, right, as a ladder hero, or as a ladder hero, rather. Say you're a Protoss player in like Diamond League and you make a wall like this. You will get Baneling busted, I want to say 9 out of 10 games. To Zerg players watching this will scream Banelings. You want to blow up that wall really badly. I don't think it would ever be done by a top-level Zerg, because the Protoss players at this level are really good at microing, but it certainly does look like a very obvious vulnerability. Alrighty, so here's that combination between the Adepts and the Oracles. How much damage can they do? This is dangerous play. Yeah, we have Zerglings spawning right now. Okay, targeting. Oracles in the meantime. Trying to swoop around, distracting the queens. Okay, shade into the main base. We do need to target some drones, preferably. I would love to see the Oracles attempt right now to maybe swoop in over here. We have a third Oracle, but I guess... yeah, that one's been sent all the way back home to try and defend. And this... it's so funny, right? Because you look at this and like, what exactly has Raynor done differently than what Serral did? Well, big picture, 10 drones have gone down. Very similar situation. And I don't think that's quite the end of it yet. I mean, he could even go after the hatchery. Yeah. Okay. So I think this creates a much more even game. When Zerg doesn't take damage in the early game, generally speaking, it means that... ooh. Generally speaking, it means that Zerg is ahead. So if Protoss kills like 5 workers, 5 to 10 workers, it feels sort of like an even game. Especially... yeah, if you lose, if you kill 10 workers and you lose like 5 adepts, I think it's pretty much an even game. But if you deal no damage or very little damage, or you lose one of your units for free, game's really tough. Now, I like this a lot. That's the second hatchery that he just sniped, using the oracles straight up. Reynor, though, teching up incredibly fast. This is a hive that started at about the 6-minute mark. I didn't quite notice it yet until just now, but that is a ridiculously fast hive. It's a transition straight towards lurkers. So the idea here is for the Zerg to, I guess, stop the Stalker aggression and the Zealot push that usually follows it by getting lurkers out much earlier than you normally would. I don't think Hero realizes that yet. No, he hasn't seen it, although he did see the timing right there of the infestation pit. Question is, though, did he click it? Could just be an Evo chamber or something else. Getting another snipe is huge. Oh, I love this. Very well done by Hero. Yep. Expertly played. Running circles around his opponent's bases, or around the opponent's bases right now, and that means that Rainor is effectively reduced to just 3 base economy. We have a secondary attempt for the expansion here on the left. I mean, at least the tech lead here is still really good for the Zerg, but second Robo facility coming up. Robo Bay on the production tab. I think Hero is aiming to go into Disruptors from here. That's the only thing that really makes sense in my mind. Stalkers, though, a little adventurous. I think they're probably going to end up going down unless we can recall them. Okay. 1 more? 2 more? Okay, 2 more. My god. What a SimCity. Truly one of the SimCities of all time. Oh, we're going Colossi instead of Disruptors. Interesting. I think he's mostly just seen Hydra Ling at this point. Colossi obviously still good. Usually lurkers don't hit the battlefield until quite a bit later than right now, and Rainor is going to have one very big opportunity where he can go across the map with lurkers and potentially win the game. Zergling run by now in the natural expansion. Hero always has these units that are not paying attention in the wall off, and frequently they're not on the, well, hold position command. Now the lurkers show up, and this will be the first time that Hero sees them. They already have seismic spines, which is the ranged upgrade. They cannot really reposition very quickly, but as long as he's got... oh, is there enough? As long as he's got the position over here at the third, I think he should be okay. That being said, though, the Protoss numbers here look like they're just simply big enough. The queens show up after all of that Zerg has gone down, and just like that, Hero shuts down the one opportunity that Raynor had in this game. Very well done. Yeah, you can continue playing this, obviously, here as Raynor. You can stick in his game and give it another shot, but that was effectively an all-in. Now suddenly you need to deal damage with these Zergling run-bys. They're not just opportunities anymore, they're necessities. And considering Protoss here is just on 3 bases, it should be easy for him to defend this. I actually think letting the Zergling slip in is actually an advantage this time around for the Protoss player. Yeah, because for 3 probes you get like 20 links. We don't have Storm yet, I was gonna say. Immortals and Archons is apparently the play. Disruptors would not be a bad addition, but... Okay. Obviously, there is a timing here as well, though, for a hero, right? Like, he doesn't just want to sit back for another 5 minutes. If he sits back for too long, Zerg is going to max out. And ultimately, this is a full ground Protoss army. Lurkers are good against ground armies in particular, but right now, hero just simply has the numbers. Zealots charging in, trying to distract his army. Stalkers creating a bit of a concave here, trying to distract as much of that splash damage as possible. The Zerglings coming from the back, but, well, they're attacking Colossi, which is their natural enemy. GG is cold. It's Hero who shuts down Raynor in game number 1. Ghost River is going to be our second game in this best of 3 series. A perfect example right there of what Hero is very well known for in this matchup. So when Hero gets a little bit ahead in the early game, when he kills a bunch of your workers, it is so hard to catch up to him. It's like an avalanche, you know? Like, it starts small, but at some point it's just overwhelming. Like, Hero tends to snowball his build orders quite a bit, where he's aiming for a small lead in the early game, and then the momentum just carries him in the mid game as well. He's not quite as... I don't think Hero is very comfortable playing the super passive style. What we see, for example, from players like Stats, players like Showtime, where they're happy to just sit back and just play the straight up macro game. Hero very much so is the type of guy who likes dealing a little bit of damage, then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then eventually he wins the game. So the cleaner the early game for Raynor, the easier this series is going to be for him. Now, obviously, that's much easier said than done. That is ultimately what he will be aiming for. I think Raynor in the long run will be a better player. Assuming he can force the game to, like, I don't know, the 20-minute mark. Or he can just play a clean early game. Just play better. Yeah. Basically what I'm saying is if he plays better, he will win more. There you go. That's why you guys watch my content, right? For that expert analysis. Nobody else could have brought you this information. No, all jokes aside though, that is basically what it comes down to. Against somebody of Hero's caliber, you cannot play a sloppy early game. It wasn't even that bad. It was just not clean. We have another pylon positioned quite aggressively. I'm assuming this will be a Stargate. Yep, a little late actually. Here are like 4 seconds late on that Stargate. Unnecessary. Especially since, well, this is Ghost River. So the idea is that you get across the map really quickly. This is the map with the quickest rush distance from air to air. Ground to ground as well, but also air to air. So you can get across to the opponent's natural expansion so rapidly. If you want to go for Spore Crawlers, for example, on a normal map, like a quote-unquote normally sized map, Zergs will be starting them up at like 330, 335 or so. But on this map, you're certainly going to have to build it earlier. Now Hero, though, apparently delayed his own Stargate a little bit, so that mitigates some of the map's advantages for him. Okay. What sort of ghost do you think, by the way, is haunting the Ghost River? I have no idea. I think Ghost River is a song, right? Ghost River. It's a map by Maris. Yeah, it's a Nightwish song. It's a long road down to the river deep and wild. Every twist and turn a wonder deal. Alright. I feel like I need to listen to this song at some point. I always think that whenever I have a map named after a metal song. I don't listen to a lot of metal myself. Anyways, 2 drones. 3rd drone would be real good. No. Oh my god. Losing. Okay, look. That is too greedy. That's too much. You can't lose the Oracle. I know it sounds so obvious, right? But losing the Oracle, that was just straight up greed right there from the Protoss. Losing an Oracle for 3 drones is not a good trade. I mean, interestingly enough, the Spore Crawler got cancelled. Okay. Yeah, so 6 drones is good. And I would have been praising this early game if Hero would have kept the first Oracle alive. Right now, it's really hard to call this an advantage just because of how good these Oracles are. I saw somebody in the YouTube comments the other day arguing that Oracles need a buff. Like, I see a lot of things on the internet. Oracle buffs, though? That's... I think it was a troll. I think it was a troll, yeah. I think Oracles are actually the best Protoss unit in the game at the current point in time. Yeah, this is also falling flat on its face right now. Okay, so let's see what Reynor can do. So this is exactly what he is hoping for when he plays a game against Hero. For the early game for the Protoss to not go particularly well. 7 drones is obvious. Oh my god, another complete... Wait, did he just rally that one through the Zerg's main? My god, it stays alive, but he didn't know where the queens were. Oy, oy, oy. It worked out, but only just barely. Okay, so this is now a perfect opportunity for Rainor to go for like a queen march. Like just a roach attack. A Ling Hydra push. Like, Rainor can do anything from here. Now it's going to require, for the Protoss at least, that the Zerg makes a mistake. Like, the Protoss needs a Zerg mistake at this point. Hero knows it. He could obviously remake more Oracles. So he decided to, by the way, recall them from the main base. That Overlord is going to spot whether or not the queens are free to roam. One thing to note, of course, is that this is a series played on a main stage. Or at the very least a match where loads of people are going to be watching these players' every moves. Because with $100,000 on the line for a tournament, these are the big games that everybody's excited for. And it turns out pro gamers are still humans. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Cyril plays in tournaments. We all know Cyril's not. Yeah, no. But like most of the pro gamers, I believe at least. I think, well, some of the professional gamers might be human, is what I'm saying. We could go into Swarm Host. I don't know if I love the idea of going Swarm Host, but it's an option. I think this is actually just for fast hive. Not quite as fast as the previous game. Yeah, I think most of the pro gamers are human. I'm not entirely decided yet on Cyril. Max specs could also be an AI. Yeah, I have seen no proof of... We're transfusing drones! Okay, I'll shut up. Yeah, it's just a fast hive together with an Hydra then here. So this is indeed just a transition. Straight towards lurkers once again. Okay. Second Evo chamber. Third Evo chamber. Okay, I was gonna say, that seems a little overly ambitious. Here comes Hero. He's thinking about it. He's threatening it. Yeah, this is a tough position right now for the Protoss player. These sort of attacks, right? These sort of follow-ups. These snowball pushes that Hero relies on so much. They're just significantly weaker. Now, Raynor did get a little carried away, though, making drones. He's all the way up to 85 workers. That means that this push is actually going to be quite tough. I think he should have had... I mean, this could actually be really good for Hero. These are +1 melee links. Stasis ward, not set up yet, but it will indeed... Oh. Oh, well, is that good for Protoss? Because the entire army is blocked. That's a gigantic force field, basically. Rainor also going Hydroling Bane, which is curious. Because Cyril in these games was going Roach Hydra. Hydroling Bane. It used to be a very common strat. Until some patches happened, obviously. I mean, the Hero is doing a really good job at this point. Yeah, drones are pulled away from the mineral line. Let's go, Hero. Saves the Stalker. He's going into Storm. Problem is that he does not have a 4th Nexus. Yeah, there was a free base in the bottom right-hand corner that Hero could have easily picked off when he was just fighting in this area, but he did never check for it. So this is a 4th hatchery for the... Or, sorry, a 5th hatchery for the Zerg. Started up before the 4th Nexus of the Protoss. There's the lurker den once again on the horizon. It's actually all quite late. Rainor a little disjointed. The hive was very quick, considering the early game. But then he didn't start up the lurker den in time to actually make use of the hive timing. He doesn't actually need a hive for anything here yet. He could go Adrenal Glands, which I think is a bit of a no-brainer, but it's also quite expensive. Yeah. So you can see that Rainor is making some slip-ups here. He's losing about probably 45 seconds or so, which is completely unnecessary. He probably did it on purpose, to be honest. He probably delayed that lurker den on purpose because he realized he made all the way up to 85 drones, which is a little too much. Yeah, so instead he decided to spend his resources on additional units. And let's see if it's going to be enough. Ooh, the Templar! The Templar! The Templar! They have Storm! Finally, there's a Storm going down. But that was too late. Only a single Storm. Zergling's going in from the back right now, but there's quite a bit of static defense. Still another Storm coming in as well. This is a dicey engagement here for Raynor. I think it will work out for him in the end-ish, sort of. Yeah. Yep, and those are the types of fights that you gotta be so careful about. I think Hero will be quite happy with that one. If he would have gotten another Storm with those 4 Templar that got picked off, he would have bruised up those Hydras a little bit more. I think he would have won that engagement convincingly. Ultimately, though, the push that we're gonna see here is gonna be similar to the one that we just saw on Oceanborn. Raynor is looking to go into Hydra Lurker. Adrenal is coming up, +2/+2, researching in the Evos. Is Hero going to have a large enough army to deal with the Lurkers? He is going Immortals, he is going Archons. Those are the tools that you need. Honestly, props right here to Hero for slowing down the game to this point. And actually showing that he's not just an aggressive Protoss, right? But he's also perfectly capable of playing that slower style and transitioning towards a big economy instead. This wasn't his preferred playstyle. This isn't what he wanted to do, but showing us that he's not a one-trick pony, although I've now seen like 6 High Templar going down for free, man. Ay, ay, ay. There's the Lurkers coming. 16 Lurkers on the production tab. What do you do when a man suddenly whips out 16 Lurkers like that? Well, apparently we're going to try and burrow some of these units up towards the high ground. Some of them will be cancelled. Okay, you know what? Perfect opportunity here for Hero once again. He's looking for it. There's only one little, one little sentry here. Big Storm's going down. Hero blinks on top of all of these units. He still has a Revelation available. So that means that the Lurkers are actually in a little bit of trouble, but it does wear off right there on the left. It does wear off on the right as well. And Hero is forced to retreat. Oh, I think that's it. I think that's it. But that was on a razor's edge. Drop Lord coming up here for the Zerg. Apparently we're going to drop, I think, some Lurkers off in the opponent's natural expansion. The Queens, though, are ready to march. It's a long march because they have to go around the cocoons. We're going to get some creep across the map as well. All right. Raynor, smelling blood in the water. He's got all the upgrades he was looking for. He's got all the units that he's been looking for. I think he's got all of the tools here that he needs to try and win this match. Yeah, now with more of the High Templar going down pretty much unnecessarily, I think that seals the deal. The Queens are here, but they're really just putting down a couple of tumors here and there. I don't think Hero really has an opportunity to try and kill all of these Zerg troops. He does a bit of a counterattack here with Zealots, fair enough, but the Lurker dropped, by the way. It went into the main base. Now we have a Lurker headed on over, I think, to like maybe the corner of the main, sure. Harass some more of those workers. I mean, reinforcing Protoss units are getting the job done. There's just chaos everywhere, right? And ultimately, this is just the first wave of many. Here's not a group of Zerg showing up. These are 2/2 links, or +2/+2 rather, for the Hydras and the links. No Carapace, but they do have Adrenal Glands. And, well, with one more Lurker over here at the 4th base, also causing havoc, Raynor evens up the score. El Sayani! Game number 3 in this best of 3 series. It's all about the early game. Oh no. Are we gonna do the pylon and the wall off thing? Hero is the only guy at the highest level that does this. Why are we, like... Why? I don't know. Usually he actually scoots it 1 square to the left. He starts off on the absolute edge of this little orange, whatever it is. Interesting. Doesn't matter. It doesn't really do that much. Although I do actually think, okay, it does matter a little bit. If I'm being very specific and I'm thinking about the later stages of the game, if we're gonna see Zergling run-bys, having the entrance into the natural expansion, especially when you're a hero and you use the O-Army hotkey maybe a little too liberally, having the entrance into your natural expansion be on the left means that you have just a little bit less reaction time. I don't think he's gonna put the Cyber Core over here, because that just creates an awkward wall. We'll probably see him putting it, like, yeah. So that means that he's gonna have less vision of a potential Ling run-by. Anyways. If we're gonna be nitpicking all of the little details. Yeah, I feel like making the opening of your base on the left is just unnecessary. It would be much better on the right. Anyhow. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, we have a hatchery into a gas geyser into a spawning pool. I can't really nitpick Zerg building positioning very much, because it's essentially irrelevant. The only thing, I guess, that's worth taking into consideration is that we could see like a big zealot warp in like the later stages of the game, and the spawning pool could be quite vulnerable. But, I mean, if zealots are busy killing a spawning pool, it means that they're not busy killing other tech or drones or whatever. And that is one of the structures you can usually lose quite nicely. Did not expect that. It's a Twilight Council opener. Hero had the gas to go into a Stargate. Rainor has seen at this point that it's a Twilight Council. Or very likely a Twilight Council. Because of the timing right here of the Cybercore research. That is interesting. So it's a Twilight into a Robo. He's gonna see this nice and quickly. I feel like at the absolute highest level of StarCraft 2, which is what this is, like 19 out of 20 games start with a Stargate. Especially when you're playing an important tournament series, right? So maybe in some of the games that I get the cast from like the smaller online cups, it's just a straight Glaives opener? Really? Okay. Anyways, in some of the smaller cups, sure, players tend to experiment with this sort of opener quite a bit, but I don't think it's considered to be particularly great when you're really trying your best to play a macro game. He actually canceled it. Wait, he went Glaives and then he canceled it. And then he restarts it? What? I'm backing off, sorry. What just happened here? So he goes... He's got the minerals and gas here to go into it, right? The Overlord spots it. And then he cancels the upgrade and does what? Because he's got the money here. He doesn't actually spend the money again. He cancels it and then restarts the same upgrade? So he's trying to fake a Dark Shrine or something along those lines, I guess. But that is... Like, at this point, Raynor will know that there's only going to be 2 pylons that really matter. So if he knows where the pylons are... He should be able to figure out that it's not a Star... Or, sorry, not a Dark Templar follow-up very quickly. That is a... So Hero actually going for a suboptimal, anti-timing, sort of Glaive Adept opener. Which is really weird, because now it will show up like a half minute later than it could have. I don't think it really matters too much. If you chrono boost it a couple times, you're probably fine. But this is going to be a tricky one here for Raynor to... Because Raynor needs to decide, right? Like, when do you stop droning? When do you start making army? And I can imagine here as a Zerg player, you're looking at this and you're like, what? How? Huh? Can I get a couple more drones? Am I okay? Like, should I be able to... Raynor, by the way... Excuse me. Raynor, by the way, here has cancelled link speed. and fired up like a 3.5-ish minute Roach Warren. So this is a very quick Roach Warren. And he's now actually created a door. Look at this. Technology that Protoss players don't have access to. It is called a door. Yeah. Yeah, for those of you that have never seen doors before. Very convenient way of going in and out of your base. Yeah, Terrans have it in the form of supply depots, and apparently Zergs have it in the form of spore crawlers. For some reason, all of the Protoss technology, thousands of years of evolution, which in evolution terms is a lot, right? Thousands? Ay, ay, ay. Millions of years of evolution. They did not evolve to create doors. Look, this is the door right here. So, this Glaive Adept opener, did it do anything? Absolutely nothing. It did nothing. Like, we got Glaives, and then we made 4 Adepts like we always do. Usually you make like 4 to 6 Adepts. Okay, we're gonna kill a few drones and then pick up in the prism and leave? Yeah, that's... You know what? That was better than I thought it was gonna be. That was actually kind of an insane little drop. For 2 Adepts, killing 7 drones is really good. Glaives, by the way, is a straight-up attack speed improvement. So it's kind of like Stimpack for Adepts, except it's permanent. I take it all back. This has been a surprisingly effective little group of Adepts. Follow-up, by the way, is going to be good old Blink together with Immortals. Third Nexus has, of course, been delayed for quite a while. Raynor is making drones on the back of this. We once again have an Infestation Pit. Could be for Swarm Host, but could certainly also be for just a good old Hydra then into, once again, Lurkers. Recall is going to be used right now on the Prism, because these Roaches are suddenly showing up. Nice Force Field. Oh, actually, it's not the Prism. Wait. Did he just recall the Immortals? Oh, they're stuck! Wait, are they stuck? I think they're just... No, he just needs them over there ASAP. Okay. I think he probably could have gotten them around. What a dangerous play. I don't know why the Immortals were over there anyways. They had nothing to do over in the natural expansion. There was nothing for them to do in that location. Anyways, in the meantime, it looks like the units in the main base of the Zerg have been permanently cleaned up. And the Roaches right now, together with the Ravagers, are being chased down. Stalkers trying to body block wherever they can, and yeah, they're just picking off whatever they can hit. And that's a very costly engagement there for Reynor. Okay. Now Hero has an opportunity to maybe even push for a potential, well, series win. Losing all of those Roaches is painful. Yeah, aggressive Blink forward again. Hero is reading this game properly. He realizes that there's going to be a ton of Roaches on the production tab at this point in time, but they're not out just yet. Triple Immortal is not to be underestimated. Can we save the Immortals? No, this one's stuck. The other one, though, or the other 2 rather, should be within a range right there of the Warp Prism, but already 23 drones have gone down. Hero obtains the lead as far as the army advantage goes, or the worker advantage rather goes, and well, very soon he's going to have the army advantage as well. There's another Warp in. We have Zealots, but no charge, so slow Zealots it is. Little surprise there, because we could have just made Stalkers, but it looks like the third base is going to be ending here. Those Zealots have been retargeted onto the base. He's reduced it to just a couple points of hits, or a couple points of hits. A couple of hit points, is what I'm saying. Points of hit is what we should be calling it. I agree. Anyways, I agree with myself. I have great conversations with myself sometimes. It's probably how they call it in France. Points de hit. Yeah, that's the French version. Raynor is dead. GG is called. Brilliant game right here by Hero. Hero does this thing sometimes where he is confusing everybody except himself. So the fact that he can't... So he gets scouted, right? He gets scouted for the Twilight Council. He starts up the upgrade, then cancels it within the Overlord's vision, doesn't use those resources elsewhere, and then he restarts the exact same upgrade. That is a very strange sequence of events, but then those 4 Adepts, they killed like a dozen workers, which is It's really only something Hero does. Pretty crazy.